Ease is something we all naturally seek. It feels good, it's comfortable, it's familiar. But that's exactly why it's so dangerous to personal growth. When life gets too easy, when everything comes without resistance, we start to stagnate. Growth comes from challenge. It comes from pushing through the hard times, not avoiding them. Think about a muscle. It doesn't get stronger unless it's tested, stretched, even torn a little. The same is true for our minds, our character, our goals. When we avoid difficulty in favor of comfort, we deny ourselves the very conditions that force us to become better. Many people wait for the perfect moment, when things feel just right, when the pressure's off, when they're fully ready. But life doesn't work like that. If you wait for things to be easy, you'll be waiting forever. Ease is seductive because it tells us we don't have to change, that we're fine right where we are. But deep down, most people know that's not true. We know when we're coasting. We know when we're playing it safe. And that nagging feeling, that's potential calling. That's your future self asking for more. It's not that ease is evil. It's that it creates a false sense of progress. You can be in a situation that looks good on the outside, but if you're not growing, you're slowly falling behind. Challenge demands more from you, but in return, it gives you more. It gives you confidence. It gives you experience. It teaches you what you're made of. It forces you to level up. And once you've gone through something hard and come out on the other side, you gain something ease could never give you. Strength, grit, and perspective. Hardship builds resilience. It exposes your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. It sharpens your focus because when you're under pressure, you stop wasting time. You move with intention. You learn to value effort, to value process, to value the small wins that come from showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. That's the kind of growth that lasts. That's the kind that changes who you are, not just what you do. When things are hard, you have to choose to keep going. That choice, that's where growth lies. Everyone has dreams, big ones. Visions of success, of freedom, of a better life. But dreams by themselves are not enough. They're the spark, not the fire. Without goals attached to those dreams, they stay in the clouds. They remain something you talk about late at night or think about when you're alone, but they never turn into something real. Goals are what bring dreams down to earth. They take the abstract and make it concrete. A dream says, I want to be great. A goal says, here's what I'm doing today to move toward that greatness. Dreams are powerful because they show you what's possible. But goals are powerful because they show you what's necessary. Goals break the dream into steps. They make it manageable. They give you a timeline, a direction, a structure. Without goals, you might be moving, but you're not moving with purpose. You're just drifting, hoping something clicks. Goals are the difference between wishing and working. They force you to focus. They force you to make choices. What to do, what to avoid, where to put your time, your energy, your money, your attention. When you have real goals, you start to measure progress in a different way. You stop asking, did I make it yet? And you start asking, did I take a step today? That shift is everything. It's the discipline to say, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm closer than I was yesterday. Every goal you hit fuels the next one. Every small win builds momentum, and that momentum builds confidence. It's not magic, it's math. Effort plus focus multiplied over time equals results. Dreams can also be overwhelming. They can feel too big, too far away. That's why breaking them into goals matters. Instead of standing at the bottom of the mountain staring at the peak, goals say, climb this next step, then the next, then the next. Before you know it, you're halfway up, and you didn't get there by chance. You got there because you had a plan. You got there because you knew that a dream without goals is just a wish. And you weren't here to wish. You were here to work. Discipline is the foundation that holds everything else together. Talent can get you started, passion can light the fire, but discipline is what keeps you moving when everything else fades. It's the part people don't like to talk about because it's not flashy. It's not exciting, it's quiet. It's early mornings, late nights, saying no to distractions, doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the habit of showing up every single day, regardless of how you feel. It's the practice of keeping promises to yourself, especially when no one else is watching. Most people think motivation is the key to success, but motivation is inconsistent. It comes and goes. It depends on your mood, your surroundings, your energy. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. It's steady. It says, this is who I am and this is what I do. It's brushing off the excuses and getting to work. It's not about being perfect. It's about being committed. You can have a bad day, a setback, a failure, but discipline brings you back. It resets your focus. It reminds you that progress is built one step at a time. Discipline is also about boundaries. It's choosing what you're willing to sacrifice. It's understanding that every yes is also a no to something else. When you choose discipline, you're saying yes to your future and no to comfort. You're choosing the long term over the short term. And the truth is, that's not always fun, but it is necessary, because greatness isn't built on bursts of energy. It's built on consistency. It's built on the days you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. That's when the real growth happens. People often wonder why some succeed and others don't, even when they start from the same place. The answer is almost always discipline. Not luck, not shortcuts, not secrets, just the willingness to keep going, to train, to study, to repeat, to improve. Discipline creates structure in chaos. It gives you control in a world that's unpredictable. It allows you to make progress even when the circumstances aren't perfect. Because the truth is, the circumstances are never perfect. Waiting for the right time is just another form of procrastination. Discipline says the right time is now, right here, with what you've got. There's a big difference between being busy and being productive. Movement and progress are not the same. You can be running in circles, putting in energy, exhausting yourself, and still end up in the exact same place. A lot of people fall into this trap. They think because they're doing a lot, they're getting a lot done. But activity without intention is just noise. It looks impressive on the outside, but leads nowhere meaningful. Progress demands direction. It requires strategy. It means every step, every action has a purpose behind it. People fill their days with tasks, meetings, errands, and routines, thinking they're accomplishing something. But if those tasks aren't tied to a clear goal, then all they're doing is staying busy. It feels productive, but it's not moving the needle. You could spend hours responding to emails, scrolling through updates, organizing files, or talking about plans, and still have nothing real to show for it. That kind of movement gives a false sense of accomplishment. You feel like you're working, but really you're just treading water. Progress is different. It's uncomfortable sometimes. It forces you to do the hard things, to face what's not working, to make real changes, to take action that has risk attached. Progress might not always be fast or flashy, but it builds, it stacks, it's measurable. You can track it, and more importantly, you can feel it. You know deep down when you've actually done something that pushes you forward. You feel that shift, that momentum, that sense that you're closer to where you want to be than you were yesterday. Intentionality is the key. You have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What outcome am I working toward? Is this action helping me grow, or is it just filling time? That level of honesty is what separates those who evolve from those who stay stuck. You don't need more hours in the day. You need more purpose in the hours you already have. Being productive isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. When you learn to focus on what truly moves you forward, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. You work smarter. You move with clarity. You begin to understand that forward is not just a direction, it's a decision. Every day, every choice, every moment, the people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your mindset, your habits, and ultimately, your future. You can't rise if you're anchored to negativity. Energy is contagious, whether it's lifting you up or pulling you down. If the people around you don't believe in growth, if they settle for average, if they feed off drama or fear, it will rub off on you whether you realize it or not. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if your environment is working against you, that fire inside starts to dim. It gets harder to stay focused, harder to stay motivated. You start shrinking yourself just to fit into places that were never meant for you. Purposeful environments challenge you. They don't let you stay the same. They call you out. They hold you accountable. They push you to level up. Being around driven, focused, and passionate people doesn't just inspire you. It forces you to grow. It makes you uncomfortable in a good way. It shows you what's possible. And most importantly, it reminds you that you're not alone. Everyone's grinding. Everyone's falling and getting back up. When you're in that kind of space, you realize that growth isn't a solo journey. It's a shared commitment. You have to be intentional with your circle. Protect your space. That doesn't mean cutting everyone off. But it does mean choosing carefully who gets access to your time, your mind, and your energy. Are they building with you or are they draining you? Do they clap when you win or do they compete? Are they talking about problems or are they focused on solutions? These questions matter because your circle will either water your potential or poison it. Sometimes it's not even about other people being bad. They just don't have the vision you have. And if you keep waiting for them to see it, you'll slow yourself down. Not everyone can go where you're going, and that's okay. Your journey is yours. Growth often requires separation, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. You can't stay rooted in a place that no longer feeds your purpose. When you choose to elevate, you make room for new connections, new energy, and new standards. The right environment doesn't just support your growth, it accelerates it. It makes you demand more from yourself. It makes you believe more is possible. It becomes a mirror that reflects back the version of you that's been waiting to come alive. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path to it. The idea of falling forward means that every mistake, every setback, every stumble is still movement. It's not about being perfect or never messing up. It's about learning how to use the fall to your advantage. When you fall forward, you're still gaining ground. You're still going in the direction of your purpose. The mistake didn't stop you. It shaped you. It taught you something. It exposed what you didn't know or what needs work. And that knowledge becomes fuel. It becomes a stepping stone, not a wall. Too many people are afraid to fall. They're scared of being judged, scared of losing, scared of the unknown. So they play it safe. They stay comfortable. But safety doesn't lead to greatness. Playing it safe might keep you from failing, but it also keeps you from growing. Falling forward means accepting that the road will be messy. It means being bold enough to try, knowing you might fail, and courageous enough to get back up when you do. Because every time you rise, you come back wiser, stronger, more prepared. Falling is not the end. The end only comes when you quit, when you stop showing up, when you let fear or doubt dictate your next move. But as long as you're willing to get back up, you're not done. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail and keep showing up. Over and over, they learn, they improve. And they keep moving forward. Every challenge brings with it a choice. You can fall back into old habits, back into fear, back into excuses. Or you can fall forward into growth, into progress, into resilience. The direction you fall is up to you. The pain, the frustration, the disappointment, none of it is wasted if you decide to use it. It becomes part of your story, part of your strength. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. You just have to make sure it didn't stop you. Falling forward is a mindset. It's a commitment to continue, to build from the broken pieces, to find purpose in the pressure, to walk through the fire and come out with more than you had before.